What's happening, DC fans? I am DL here with some movie news. New set photos have released from James Gunn's Superman that's going to be released next year. There's a lot of set photos that have been released over the past couple of days, so we have a lot to discuss. So let's not waste more time. Let's break down these set photos that have been released. So, if you guys remember when I made a video about the first reveal of David Cornsweet as Superman, you know, the photo that where he's sitting down, he's battle damaged, he's putting on his boots, and there's a giant like beam coming out of the sky, and I'm sure everybody has seen the memes from that photo. Everyone has just put a whole bunch of memes based off of that photo. When I first saw that reveal, I was going back and forth with it, you know? Like, I didn't hate the suit, but I didn't love it either. There are some aesthetic things that I liked about it, and then there's some other things that I didn't like. And overall, I didn't think it was a flattering way to show David Cornsweet as Superman. You know, for the first reveal, you know, like him just sitting down, putting on his boots, he's looking a little sad. His suit looked all ruffled up, trying to put the boots on. So, like, I didn't think that was the best way to reveal him for the first time, but I know it, like, that photo was meant to set a tone, set a mood. So, you know, I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. But I was always saying that even though I didn't love that first reveal, I was willing to wait to see how he actually looks in the context of the movie, to see how he actually moves in the suit, actually see him standing up, seeing, you know, the color palette on it. So I wasn't going to be like, oh, this is going to be a disaster after this one photo. Let me see how he looks in motion when I actually eventually see a trailer. But we didn't even have to wait till then, because a bunch of these set photos came out. There were some photos of some of the architecture of Metropolis, seeing the different how they're crafting the Daily Planet, and seeing that they're actually making a physical globe for the building and stuff like that. And then lo and behold, we actually got a bunch of photos of David Cornsweet on set as Superman in the Superman suit with Mr. Terrific and Lois Lane and Perry White, and most recently they just released a photo of David Cornsweet as Clark Kent. But now I know I've heard all the opinions about these set photos. You know, some people are still mixed on, you know, how he looks. Some people still isn't really sold on the suit overall. And, you know, I've heard most of the criticisms, and, you know, a lot of them are valid, and some of them I actually agree with them on. But I don't know, guys. Just speaking on my personal opinion, I love these photos. I love them, man. These photos look great, and honestly, it's gotten me more. It's getting me more excited to see this movie. Pretty much most of the criticisms that I had with David Cornsweet's suit, like seeing it in this context, seeing him actually like outside in the suit, actually seeing him standing up, actually seeing how it's fitted on him a little bit better, seeing the color on the suit, seeing how his hair is, seeing how he's standing next to Mr. Terrific, all that stuff. It looks so good. It like I said, like, regardless of how I feel about the suit overall, you know, it may end up not being my favorite suit. But do I look at David Cornsweet? Do I look at him in the suit and how his hair is, how he's built? Do I look at him and instantly think that's Superman? And the answer is an emphatic yes. Man, he looks so good. He looks so good. The suit, how it looks on him, man, I'm loving this suit. Now, I still do have some nitpicks here and there. It's not perfect, but as I said, like the criticism that I had from the first reveal, like a lot of them have, you know, been addressed for me. Looking at these set photos, like the collar, for example. You know, I'm not the biggest fan of the collar for Superman, you know, for the New 52. But the way it looks in these photos, like, it looks a lot better to me. Like, the trunks. I'm personally indifferent about the trunks. I don't care if he wears them. I don't care if he doesn't wear them, as long as he looks good in the suit. The trunks don't bother me here. You know, like, it actually, I personally think it looks looks good on him. Um, the belt, I like the belt. The way the symbol looks on the suit. I didn't know how to feel about James Gunn using the Kingdom Come suit for this version of Superman, but the way the crest looks on the suit, it looks good. The way his hair looks really good. The cape, they actually put the yellow symbol on the back of the cape, so we see that again. That's nice to see. Um, I don't know, the way the boots look, just everything looks so good. And like I know people were complaining about the lines and the pattern on his torso and the sleeves and stuff like that. That type of aesthetic personally doesn't really bother me. I know that started to become a trope ever since the Marvel films because they decided to put like patterns and lines into the costumes and the suits for the characters in the MCU. But that was an aesthetic that personally never really bothered me. And honestly, I think some of the designs look better with the lines on there. That's just my personal opinion. And as far as seeing the lines on Superman's suit, I think they look perfectly fine. I don't think it's distracting, and in ways I think it kind of looks cool. What I like the most about his suit is that it looks like a uniform that he could get from Krypton, Like I like, ever since Man of Steel that they're emphasizing the fact that Superman is an alien. And it feels like with this suit is once again, reminding us that, he's embracing some of the alien culture when it comes to his costume. I know that we're used to seeing like the tightly fitted suits that almost made it look like pajamas. Like a lot of people like the idea that Ma Kent helped Clark make the Superman suit. Like, and a lot of theories is that he got his costume because they were pajamas from Krypton, which I like that aesthetic too. But I want to call something out a little bit as far as like Ma Kent making his costume, which I think that's a sweet, theory of her making a suit. That's a nice way of like connecting him to, the Kents. But let's think realistically. If Ma was actually, if Martha Kent was able to make Superman's suit out of homemade things, like think about when Superman is in battle, for example, he gets blasted by rays or he gets punched through buildings. Would that costume really, be tactical for that? Would it actually be durable enough for Superman to get into a fight? I don't think so. Realistically, I don't think it would make sense for Martha to make his costume because it won't be durable enough for the danger that Superman gets into. So, like, the fact that they're, having this resemble being possibly being an actual uniform from Krypton, I think makes more sense, Now, as far as the criticism of, that the suit doesn't look fitted enough on him, like it's not emphasizing the build that David Cornsweet has. That I kind of agree with because if you actually see David Cornsweet working out for this role, he bulked up a lot for this movie, and I definitely understand that the suit does not actually show how big he actually is. And if you go back to Henry Cavill's suit in Man of Steel and Batman v Superman and Justice League, like that suit, while it actually resembled being an alien uniform, it was fitted enough to show Henry Cavill's build. So would I personally like to have seen the suit a little bit more form fitted on him? Yes, but just judging from the set photos, it didn't look as bulky as it did in the first reveal. It actually looked like it's fitted on him a little bit better. It's enough where I'm not being distracted by it. Because I feel like the suit in Superman and Lois, for example, I think that suit is a little too big on Tyler Hoechlin. It looks like a sweater on him. And whenever he's moving around, you could tell like there's creases and wrinkles. I think that suit personally is my least favorite Superman suit out of all of them. So when I'm looking at David Cornsweet's suit, yes, there you can still see a little bit of ruffles, but it's not, personally to me, it's not as bad as something like Tyler Hoechlin's suit. So, and also you can see like behind the scenes that it looks like they're trying to, they're doing some adjustments to the suit to make it possibly make it look like it's a little bit more fitted on him. And once again, we got to see how he looks when he's in motion in a trailer or when we actually see the movie. Maybe the ruffles won't be distracting as much in the film. But we'll just have to wait and see. Like, if it still looks like it's too bulky on him, I'll be the first to tell you. Because, like, I'm not just going to instantly love a suit just because it's Superman. Because I had my issues with Superman suits in the past. Because I'm not the biggest fan of Brandon Routh's suit, for example. I have some issues with that. I don't like I don't like Tyler Hoechlin's suit from Superman and Lois. And I wasn't even a big fan of his suit in Supergirl and stuff like that. So, yeah, definitely I would have my criticisms with Superman suits. But I'm open to seeing how it'll look in the context of the movie or a trailer. Now, there's some other stuff that they showed, like Mr. Terrific, seeing the first look of Mr. Terrific, and I gotta tell you, Mr. Terrific looks great. Like, straight out of the comics. I know for some people that don't know who Mr. Terrific is, they probably look at him and think he looks a little bit silly. And fair enough, with the motorcycle jacket and the fair play on the sleeve and the T mask that he has on, I can see how some people will look at that and think, "Oh, that's a little silly." But to me, I think he looks awesome. I personally like how the T mask looks on Mr. Terrific. Like, it doesn't fully look like a mask. It looks like something synthetic. Like, it almost looks painted on, but not really. But it doesn't look like so much painted on where it looks fake, something looks kind of like artificial about it in a good way. So I actually like how the T mask looks. I like how the jacket looks. The jacket looks amazing. I like the fair play on the sleeves. I like the Terrific on the back of the jacket. Just the overall, the pants, the boots, like all that looks so good. I cannot wait to see how Mr. Terrific does in this movie. And for those of you who are doubting that James Gunn can't take this type of design and convince us of that, I just want to remind you guys that he made Polka Dot Man work. He made Starro work in the Suicide Squad. And going back to Marvel, he made the talking raccoon and the talking tree and a talking dog that does telekinesis. He made all of that work. So if you're still doubting that, and Peacemaker with Eagly, there are so many other examples where James Gunn was able to take these silly characters and make us buy into it. So at this point, if you're still doubting James Gunn can't take these designs and make us be invested in these characters, like, I don't know what to tell you at this point. Like, when are we gonna learn? James Gunn is gonna take any C-level, D-level character and make them cool, make them work somehow. There's also been some set photos of Lois Lane, where you see she's in a purple outfit, and some people remind us that Lois Lane wore purple in the animated series, so that probably is a callback to that. And I personally like seeing Lois Lane in long hair. It looks like they're going to give her the long hair in this. I personally like that. We see Perry White in there. It looks pretty good. And then most recently, they released the first photo of David Cornsweet as Clark Kent. And I actually really like this design of Clark Kent. Now, I'm going to admit, I love Superman, but one of the goofiest things about Superman that I just cannot get over is people not recognizing that Clark Kent is Superman just because he's wearing a suit and wearing glasses. Like, Lilith's like, "Oh, I put on glasses. You don't know who I am. I take off the glasses. I look completely different." Now, I know there's going to be some people that is going to argue with me that there are some instances where people put on glasses and they look different from how they are without glasses. Yes, there are some occurrences that does happen, but that's few and far between. And Clark Kent, as far as his overall look, from Clark Kent to Superman in other versions, I personally don't feel like there is that strong of a difference in certain aspects where it's you can't tell that Clark Kent is Superman. Just how his hair is, and Lily, he's a big guy. David Cornsweet is 6'4". And looking at the build of Superman, I'm sorry, there's just some instances where it's there's no way you can't tell that Clark Kent is Superman in some instances. I go along with it because of the characters and the conflict and the story and the villains. So that's a little detail I'm able to overlook at times. But deep down, I'm it's very silly that all he has to do is put on glasses and nobody knows how he knows who he is. Now, I went on that tirade just to say that I love this look of Clark Kent because there's one specific detail that I think will help better differentiate Clark from Superman. And it's just one little detail, but little details can add up to something really good. And I'm talking about his hair. If you see the photo of him as Clark Kent, he has like this bushy, curly hair, you know. And then if you see him as Superman, he has the slick back hair with the S curl, right? So when I'm looking at him as Clark Kent, like I don't instantly like look at him and instantly like think that, oh, he's Superman. Like they're putting in a little bit more effort to show how aesthetically he looks different from Superman. So I appreciate that. Like, and it's not so much of a departure where it's like I don't look at him and think that it's not Clark Kent, you know? Like I instantly look at him and yeah, that's Clark Kent, but they're actually giving him more bushy, curly haired look. So I appreciate that. Now I'm hoping, James Gunn, if you're listening to this, I'm hoping that you're not going to make Clark Kent a bumbling fool like he was in the Christopher Reeve movies. I personally did not like when they were making him goofy and like a clumsy guy and like can barely speak to anybody. You don't have to go that far to make Clark Kent, you know, make him act that drastically different from Superman. Like he could just act like a regular person. They could be an introvert. He could be a little bit awkward. You know, he can show up not being as manly as Superman, but he doesn't have to be a bumbling idiot, a clumsy fool. So I'm hoping that he doesn't go that route with Clark Kent. You know, like because one thing I'm kind of worried about with the bushy curly hair, because that may also indicate that he might be a little bit silly with it. And I wouldn't put it past James Gunn because, you know, he does comedy. You know, but I do trust James Gunn with the humor in comic book films more than a lot of directors that try to implement comedy in superhero films the way that James Gunn does. So I don't know. I'm open to seeing how the interpretations will be. But yeah, that's my overall thoughts on the set photos, man. I'm really liking what I'm seeing. It's getting me more excited to see this film. I just want to see a trailer. Give me a teaser or something, you know? I'm so excited to see this film. Superman 25. Man, it can't come soon enough. But those are my overall thoughts on the set photos for Superman 25. That's what I'm dubbing it now because it's coming out in 2025 and, you know, it's another film called Superman. So I'm dubbing this film Superman 25, just like how a lot of people will call Batman 1989. They'll call it Batman 89. So let's call this film Superman 25. I know some people can't get over it being called Superman Legacy. There's some people that I know that are still calling it Superman Legacy for some reason, but you know, I'm gonna call it Superman 25. I think that's a good like running title for it. But those are my overall thoughts on the set photos. What did you guys think about it? Did these set photos get you more excited to see the film, or are you still more apprehensive about it? Are you warming up to David Corn's sweatsuit a little bit more, or you still have issues with it? Does it look worse than how it looked in the first reveal? Do you like how Mr. Terrific looks? Do you like how Lois Lane looks? Perry, do you like the first look of David Cornsweet as Clark Kent? Comment your thoughts down below and let me know.